The condensation on the glass of your whiskey is the only thing that feels real anymore. You sit at the far end of the booth, the leather upholstery cracked and biting into your back, watching the neon sign of the bar flicker in a rhythmic, dying pulse. Across from you, he is laughing, a deep, guttural sound that vibrates in your chest, and he claps a heavy hand on your shoulder. To anyone else, it's a gesture of brotherhood, a sign of trust earned through years of shared risks and whispered secrets. To you, it feels like a brand. You smile back, the muscles in your face moving with a practiced ease that nauseates you, and you take a slow sip of the cheap amber liquid, letting the burn distract you from the wire taped firmly against your ribs. You aren't just a guest at this table. You are a ghost inhabiting a life that was supposed to be a temporary assignment. The rain streaks the windows, blurring the city lights into smears of cold blue and sickly yellow. You remember the briefing room 3 years ago, the smell of stale coffee and the clinical brightness of the fluorescent lights. They told you it would be 6 months, maybe 8. They gave you a name that wasn't yours and a history built on paper-thin lies, promising that once the cuffs were on the right people, you'd get your own life back. But the months bled into years, and the line between the performance and the performer began to fray. You've sat at their weddings, stood as a godfather to their children, and helped bury the mistakes that happened in the dark of the shipping yards. Now, when you look in the mirror of your cramped apartment, you don't recognize the eyes looking back. You see the man they think you are, the loyal soldier, the one who doesn't ask questions. The man across from you leans in, his breath smelling of tobacco and expensive cologne, and lowers his voice. He talks about the shipment coming in tomorrow night, the one that will change everything. He calls you his brother. He tells you he doesn't know what he'd do without you. And for a fleeting, terrifying second, you feel a surge of genuine warmth. It's the only intimacy you have left. Your old friends have stopped calling. Your mother thinks you're working a corporate job in a city 3 states away. The handlers at the bureau speak to you in code, their voices cold and transactional, treating you like a piece of equipment that is slowly reaching its expiration date. Here, in this smoke-filled room, you are valued, you are seen, even if the person they see is a shadow. You reach into your pocket and feel the cold plastic of the burner phone. One text is all it takes to end this. One message to the handler waiting in a parked car 3 blocks away, and the tactical teams will move in. The sirens will scream, the glass will shatter, and the man laughing in front of you will spend the rest of his life behind bars because of you. You imagine the look on his face, not anger, but the pure, soul-crushing confusion of a man betrayed by the only person he trusted. You wonder if that's the moment your real life starts again, or if that's the moment you finally disappear for good. The silence that follows his laughter is heavier than the noise ever was. You realize with a sudden, chilling clarity that the exit strategy they promised you was a fairy tale. There is no version of you that simply walks back into a bright office and a quiet life after this. You've spent too long looking at the world through the eyes of a predator, learning the precise weight of a threat and the exact frequency of a lie. Even if you send the text, even if the handcuffs click shut, you will still be sitting in this booth in your mind, smelling the rain and the whiskey, waiting for a blow that never comes. You look down at your hands. They are steady, unnervingly so. They are the hands of a man who has held secrets like live grenades for 1,000 days. You wonder if the people back at the bureau realize that they didn't just place an informant, they dismantled a human being and rebuilt him into a ghost. They talk about the greater good in their reports, but the greater good feels very small and very cold when you're the one holding the bill for it. The man across from you leans back, sighing with a weary kind of contentment. He starts talking about the future, about a house by the coast, about getting out of the life once this last shipment clears. He's dreaming of the same escape you are, just from a different side of the glass. For a moment, the irony is almost enough to make you laugh out loud. You are both trapped in the same cage, pacing the same floor, pretending there's a door that isn't locked from the outside. Your thumb brushes the screen of the burner phone in your pocket. The haptic vibration of a notification from your handler feels like an electric shock against your leg. They're impatient. They want the coordinates. They want the time. They want the kill. You feel the wire against your skin again, and it doesn't feel like a tool anymore. It feels like a leash. You think about the face of the man who recruited you, the clean-shaven, tired face of a man who goes home to a wife and kids every night. He doesn't have to live in the gray, he just manages it. As you look at the man who calls you brother, you realize the turning point didn't happen tonight. It happened months ago, the first time you stopped thinking of him as a target and started thinking of him as the only person who actually knows you. The tragedy isn't that you're a liar, it's that the lie has become the only place where you feel real. If you destroy him, you destroy the only witness to the man you've become. The neon sign outside finally gives up, flickering one last time before plunging the booth into a dim, shadow-filled red. You take the phone out of your pocket, the screen glowing like a small, judgmental eye in the darkness. You stare at the blank message field, the cursor blinking, waiting for a betrayal that feels like suicide. You wonder if you just stayed silent, if you just let the boat sail and the money move, would you be a criminal, or would you finally just be a man? The blinking cursor is a heartbeat, steady and indifferent. You look up from the screen, meeting the eyes of the man across from you, and for the first time, you don't look away. You don't perform. You just sit there in the red-tinted gloom, two men at the edge of a cliff, one pushing and the other falling, though neither of you is sure which is which anymore. He smiles at you, a tired, genuine expression, and asks if you're okay. You tell him you're just thinking about how quiet it's going to be when this is all over. He nods, satisfied with the lie, because he wants the quiet just as much as you do. You slip the phone back into your pocket without typing a single word. The vibration of a second check-in from your handler hums against your thigh, urgent and demanding, but it feels like it's coming from another planet. They are waiting for a signal that identifies a criminal, but all you see in front of you is a mirror. If you give them what they want, they get their conviction, their promotion, their headline, and you get a new name in a new city where no one knows the sound of your real voice, and you spend the rest of your nights looking over your shoulder for a ghost you created yourself. The rain has turned into a dull roar against the roof of the bar. It's a sound that washes everything out, blurring the lines of the street and the faces of the people passing by. You realize that you aren't an informant anymore, and you aren't a friend either. You are something else, a hollow space where a person used to be, caught in the friction between two worlds that both want to consume you. There is no version of this that ends with you walking into the sunlight, clean and whole. You stand up, your coat heavy with the damp air and the weight of the hardware hidden beneath it. He stands, too, clapping you on the shoulder one last time, promising to see you at the docks at dawn. You walk toward the door, the bell chiming with a cheerful, mocking ring. As you step out into the cold, the rain hits your face, but it doesn't feel like a cleansing. It just feels like more weight. You stand on the sidewalk, watching the taillights of the passing cars disappear into the fog. Your hand goes to your pocket, resting on the phone that could end a life or begin a disappearance. You wonder if the people who sent you here ever thought about what happens when the mask stops being a mask and starts being the skin. You wonder if, when you finally stop running, there will be anything left of the man who started this journey, or if you've already been erased, one secret at a time. The city breathes around you, vast and uncaring, and you realize that the hardest part isn't the lie you told them, it's the lie you're still telling yourself. How much of a person can you strip away before there's nothing left to